UFC 254 had a very highly much anticipated fight between Justin Gaethje and Khabib Nurmagomedov, and to a lot of people, it did not disappoint. I mean, UFC 254 as a whole was a phenomenal card, and that was one hell of a Saturday of action. But now we got some problems because we need to talk about what we saw on UFC 254. And now we need to determine what the hell we're going to do for that vacant lightweight title. Then also we're going to preview UFC Vegas 12 Hall and Silva. But of course, I'm your host Ross Allen. I am joined alongside by UFC correspondent Blake Campbell. Blake, how you doing this evening?
What up? What up?
That's what I like to hear. I see you for all of our viewers watching on YouTube, seeing the video version of the show. You see Blake rocking that very good looking Sugar Sean gear. He's still a fan. I respect
Still
it.
a fan.
Still a fan.
Still rocking with the boy.
What was the hype train for you derailed a little bit, or are you still full go?
I was pretty emotional when he lost. I'm not gonna lie. It kind of hurt me a little bit, but no, I still think that it was just one of those things. I really do believe it that it was just one of those freak injuries that happen in a fight from time to time. Sometimes you get hit in a spot and you get busted up. You can't really help it. Props to Cheeto though for throwing that strike that I guess got Sean out of there. But yeah, I'm definitely still on the hype train. I think he's going to come out and have a really good performance next.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And before
By the
we
way,
get,
speaking of
yeah,
Cheeto though, isn't that sad? Isn't that sad that his fight might be scrapped with Aldo?
that would really suck.
It's already gotten pushed back. It's not I don't think it's official yet.
It's not.
But I think that they're now talking December possibly.
That's a bummer.
I hope he gets that though, because dude, if he beats Aldo, then I'll be like, wow.
That's legit. That would be legit. And just real quick before we get into our UFC 254 recap, breaking news over on our Twitter and Instagram today. Of course, Twitter at Fourth Long Radio, Twitter at Fourth Long Radio. You can follow us there. Everything's on the website, www.thefourthlong.com. But I will be interviewing the Guitar Hero Justin James next week, and I cannot wait to get that one out to you guys. So just stay tuned. And let's get into things, Blake. UFC 254. First one I want to talk about was Shavkat Rakhmonov making short work of veteran Alex Oliveira in his debut in the UFC Octagon. He got a guillotine 440 into the first round, and he's now 12-0. Thoughts on this guy, and how much of an impact do you think he's going to have moving forward? Is he kind of like a Hamza Chimaev, just like diet version?
We're gonna have to see more. There's no other Hamzat right now. There's no guy that's gonna get 3 wins in like 53 days.
Something absolutely asinine, and now he's going to be fighting Leon Edwards. So
yeah, so let's slow that roll a little bit. But it is very impressive when you take a guy like Oliveira. Although what was really interesting, the reason that I picked against Oliveira is
was it the weight cut?
Weight cuts, yeah. They're very telling. Some fighters, they're just kind of being a D-bag about it, and they're just going to, throw you around a little bit. But I really thought that this Oliveira missed cut was more of possibly just a hard cut than just kind of saying, F it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of thought that the newcomer would have a decent shot against him, and it kind of showed.
Very fair with that one. The next fight, one of the earliest fights, like the third fight on the prelims, ends up being our fight of the night, ends up being the show stealer between Nathan Wood and Casey Kenny. Fight of the night with Kenny taking this one via decision. And oh man, was this one hell of a way to have a crazy ass fight to have on the prelims. But sometimes that's just what happens. But man, if you got a free fight of the night right here, what did you think about this one?
It's one of those fights where I hate that someone has to lose because both fighters fought so incredibly well. Wood came out of the gate just freaking firing on all cylinders, looking really impressive, keeping Kenny at distance. But the whole time, Kenny was hitting him with more powerful shots, I'd say, and a little bit more variety. If you remember the fight before, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks before, Kenny was just ripping some dude's body. It was ridiculous. I can't remember who he was fighting, but it was brutal. But really impressive performance by both of these guys. Kenny just hit a little bit harder, I think. That's really what it came down to, because the numbers were so stinking close.
100% that one. really, really good stuff from him. And
I
to your
wouldn't mind seeing, I think I brought this up last time we were talking. Kenny is teammate over there at, I think the MMA lab where Kyler Phillips and Sean O'Malley train.
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind seeing one of those dudes take on Nate Wood next. I mean, just shoot.
Dude, that'd be
Those guys have really, really similar, really good styles. It's fun fights to watch. I mean, that's fight of the night pretty much with any of those three, I think.
oh, that would be absolutely killer. I mean, that first fight. I mean, we kind of wish this catchweight fight was similar to the first one when we got a unit or a split decision draw from between Jung Da-un and Sam Alvey. But you can't always have draws. But phenomenal, phenomenal fight. Then to cap off the prelims, we had the skyscrapers Stefan Struve taking on Tai Tuivasa. Unfortunately, we did not get a shoey due to alcohol laws over there in Abu Dhabi.
Is that what it was?
That's apparently what it was. That's apparently what it was. That's what I heard
Do you
on the
know
broadcast.
Specifically what it was?
They didn't have
what's
beer.
the law?
I don't know. No beer.
Because I thought they have a bar there. Like literally, Felder said that they have a bar at the hotel or something.
I don't know. It was something they were explaining on commentary. But all in all, we did not get to see Tai Tuivasa, and we did not to see John Anik do a shoey. But at least it was Tai Tuivasa fight, so we got to see one hell of a knockout. That uppercut.
He still did a shoey though. It's disgusting. I hate that. But I mean,
have you done a shoey?
I will never do a shoey in my life unless someone pays me a large sum of money.
How large are we talking?
I mean, I'm a cheap boy. You probably give me $50 and talk me into it. That's a big amount for me, bro.
Hey, bro, I'll keep that in next time I'm in town. $50.
$50. I'll think about it.
$50. I'll have to work on the shoes real quick, and then
depends.
then
Depends the shoes too, though. The quality of shoes definitely increases the price.
Very good point with that. Drink out of Crocs, but Tai Tuivasa puts Struve down with 1 second left to go in the first round. Hits a walk-off KO. And that was a fun way to end the prelims.
Yeah, I mean, Struve just didn't look like he showed up that night to me. He looked a little hesitant and kind of just let Tuivasa almost boss him around, really. I mean, he had him everywhere he wanted. Mm-hmm. Just let him tee off on him. And you can't do that at heavyweight,
Well, it's surprising to me that there is a obvious height and reach discrepancy between these two guys. I mean, and right. Struve still couldn't maintain distance against Tai, and so that was a little concerning from
I think it was one of those things where Tuivasa just needed it, Struve, I can't remember his record off the top of my head, but I know Tuivasa wasn't he on like a 3-fight losing streak coming into this.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember that being kind of a big headline going into the week, like you got to win this, you might get cut. It is a possibility, even though you're kind of I don't know if he's a draw necessarily, but he is a guy that is popular. A lot of people, even the casual fans in MMA, you could say casual,
put that in quotes.
They know who they are or who he is. So, I mean, a lot of eyes will be on him when he is fighting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then after that, we got right proper into the main card. And then we finally got the highly anticipated rematch between Magomed and Kudabella. And Magomed kind of showed that the first fight was not a mistake.
He's the truth, man.
He's
that guy
good.
Came out there. I don't know why I picked Kutalaba.
It's because emotions.
I don't know if it was emotions.
On real quick to interject, Blake. Of course, if you guys have been following ever since was a UFC 259, the Gaethje and Ferguson card. We started here at the fourth line between myself, Blake, and Jalen, co-host over there, the Suck My Pick title. So the winner, whoever predicts the most correct fights on the card, is the champion for that pay-per-view. And we have had a changing of the guard from Saturday. Blake Campbell is your new and first time, for him at least, Suck My Pick champion. So Blake, congrats to you, buddy. Well earned.
What can I say?
It's about damn time.
I appreciate it.
It's about damn time. You did pretty good too. Only got 2 fights wrong. Very respectable. Very respectable.
I'm usually doing pretty good. It's just you guys. I'm always the first one to turn my picks in. I think you guys just wait for me to turn my picks in and then.
Hey, if you want,
strategically pick.
Nah, man. I never do it all for you. That's a Ross guarantee right there. So that holds a lot of water. But I mean, Magomed really just made really easy work of this guy. It wasn't close.
No, it was. I mean, the first fight looked closer than the
Right.
fight ended in like 40 seconds.
See, at least Bell could make the point from the last fight. Like, yeah, no, this was a fluke, but now he just got
He
knocked
got brutally
out.
knocked out.
He
He
got
got absolutely brutally knocked out. I mean, Magomed is a problem.
and
He is a problem at light heavyweight.
he's gonna be a contender real soon for that light heavyweight strap. Just you wait with that
Well,
one.
he was already number 11, right?
Yeah. So he's
Yeah, so he's fighting top 10 for sure next fight.
shoot. I say top five. Give him a top five right now.
He looks really impressive.
Exactly. Then if we want to move on to one of the next fights, so a middleweight with two guys making their debut to the UFC roster. On one side of the octagon, we had Jacob Malkoun, teammate of Robert Whittaker, which we'll get to him in a second. He was a boxer. He transitioned to MMA. He was 4-0 going into this fight. Then on the other hand, you had Phil Hawes, a really big name out of Dana White's Contender Series, making his debut onto the main UFC roster now. He was 8-2 going into this fight, and it took 18 seconds. And then
Sparked him.
Within 18 seconds, Jacob was out cold. He got murdered by Phil Hawes, and in my opinion, this was easily knockout of the night. Easily.
Yeah, I'm excited now to see where does Philip Hawes go from here. Is he well rounded? Like, we only got to see 18 seconds. Was his Contender Series fight this year or was it earlier?
It was a little earlier, I do believe.
It was the year before. Yeah, because I have not been watching Contender Series this year. It's just always on when I'm at work, so kind of sucks.
Yeah,
but
bad timing on that stuff, man.
But yeah, Philip Hawes, man, I want to see more out of that guy. I hope he can get a quick turnaround, maybe fight again in maybe like in November.
It was in
or
September. It was in September this year.
Okay.
Yeah, where he won that fight.
Wasn't that like his second time though? Didn't he do it twice?
He had one Contender Series. He had a loss in a Contender Series back in 2017.
That's what it was.
Then he came back this year, back in September, and he got a little ground and pound TKO in round one against a guy that I absolutely cannot pronounce his name.
All good.
Hadzimirat Bestav. Man, those Eastern Europeans really throw me off so bad. But point of the story is he murdered that guy. Then he goes in and he murders this guy. So this guy,
who trains with Whittaker, that's pretty impressive,
right? So hey, Philip Hawes, man. Philip Hawes, he's going to be good. I'm super excited with him. And now I guess if we have to talk about it, I really don't want to, but I mean Alexander Volkov, Walt Harris. I still just feel awful watching Walt Harris get knocked out. It's not fun. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, I mean,
it
does suck, but I mean
that's
his profession.
Yeah.
That's his profession. It's just gonna happen. You gotta get in there and be prepared. Volkov looked freaking good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his last fight, Hardy, and now Harris.
He deserves a step up in competition, I think.
He is easily making a name for himself and one of the top contenders for that heavyweight belt.
I mean, when he fights like that, like he fought against Hardy and he's gonna be tough to beat.
Well, as long as he's not getting knocked down with 10 seconds to go in the fight,
that leg kick, man, or not the leg kick, but his kick to the sternum, kind of.
Dude, well, I mean, that's how we set up the TKO. Hit him with a really vicious up kick to the got him with a kick to the kind of like the solar plexus, kind of like the solar plexus right there, and Harris was just hunched over,
crumpled. You could literally hear him scream.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't get TKO'd because he got his head rocked. He got TKO'd because he couldn't fight from a body shot.
That's really impressive.
Ridiculous. I mean, if we want to keep on talking about kicks, though, let's roll into the co-main. Robert Whittaker, Jared Cannonier,
nice.
A lot running on laying on the line for this fight. I mean, you had a title fight essentially with this one. When we'll
title eliminator, I would say.
Title eliminator. I like that. We'll talk about that in a second. But I mean, Robert Whittaker winning it was a really good fight, but he handled Jared Cannonier in all 3 rounds in this one. I mean, it also doesn't help that according to Cannonier, I mean, one of my favorite pictures from this is after all the events were over. Yeah, Jared Cannonier in a sling and Robert Whittaker all smiling next to each other. Love that kind of stuff. But first kick
that Robert
Whittaker threw. broke Cannonier's arm. So that certainly would not help you in the fight, especially against the Reaper.
That's so wild that he just kept going still.
It's impressive as hell. That
It's a
reminds me like
beast.
when Paul Felder broke his arm like a year or so ago. Then kept
Against
on,
Mike Perry.
yeah, with the spinning back fist, and then he goes and throws a spinning back fist with the broken arm again.
And he's jabbing with it. Doesn't matter.
Stupid, but
Crazy.
what do you think about this fight?
I was really impressed by Whitaker. I mean, it just proved that he's the cream of the crop. I mean, if Adesanya wasn't around, he'd still be champion. You know, that's really what it comes down to. Is just Adesanya is just a tick above the rest. I don't know if I can see Whitaker beating Adesanya, but the Whitaker that showed up against Cannonier, I think, has a better shot than the Whitaker that showed up the first fight against Adesanya.
Well,
I mean, he looked impressive in every facet, really.
Well, it also didn't help if we go back to that championship fight. That was Whitaker's first fight in over a year, due from injuries and stuff like that. So,
And he was uninspired too. I mean,
yeah, but now
his words.
Now he's come back, lost against Adesanya. He had a really good fight against Darren Till. No, a really good fight against Darren Cannonier. He's a different fighter than when he was in that championship fight. So do we make that rematch now? Is that the next way to go for
I
that
don't think
title?
you. I don't think you have to. I think Adesanya kind of he can do whatever he wants. Really, that fight's gonna be there. You know, the Whitaker fight's gonna be there. You're gonna. It's always gonna be attractive. It's got the New England, New Zealand and the Australian populations kind of going back and forth, and so you're always gonna have that in the back pocket. So I'd say maybe explore some options, see what else is out there for a little bit.
Well,
give Whitaker even more time to get more confidence.
Well, Blake, if we want to talk about what else out there, here we go. Conspiracy theory time right here. There has been interest between both parties of a title fight at the light heavyweight division between new light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz and middleweight champion Israel Adesanya. And so, this is good for everyone because assuming, I don't think it will happen, but if Israel Adesanya is to win, that will perfectly.
Getting so ahead of yourself. Oh my goodness! But keep going.
100. I said conspiracy theory. 100% conspiracy theory. But if that does happen, Blake, if Israel Adesanya moves up in March, is what Jan's talking about, and he beats Jan Blachowicz for that light heavyweight title, that opens the door to John Jones, Israel Adesanya, 205-pound belt on the line. That is going to sell so many damn pay-per-views because to have that fight between Izzy and John, you need a belt on the line to
Basically, two undefeated.
Yes, two undefeated guys.
Shut up, Hamill.
12-6 elbows are stupid. New York State Athletic Commission, screw yourselves. It's not that hard to break a chunk of ice. Oh, scary chunk of ice. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, look it up. It's
Read a book.
It's as stupid as it sounds. Okay, talk to Big John McCarthy. But you set up that fight, 205-pound strap on the line. That's money. That's huge money right there, and that's what you do.
You just gotta hire us, man. We'll take care of the matchmaking for them.
Hey, maybe Sean Shelby, we don't want your job. We're not here to take your job. We're just here to assist.
We just want to give you a break, give you a vacation.
Dude, you've been doing so well over the past few months during this. I think
it's been okay. Don't give him too much credit.
Okay. No, I won't butt him up. Sean Shelby, you've been doing amazing last few months.
Took him too long to find Hamzat another fight, so
just
he lost a little bit of points in my book.
Hey, just stay on Fight Island. Enjoy your time with the vacation. We'll take the reins from here.
Yeah, we'll meet you in Vegas, Dana.
Hell yes, that's what I'm talking about. But let's get on into the main event of the evening because, of course, there's so much that came from this. The fight is almost second to anything that happened. But, I mean, if we want to talk it, 2 rounds. Khabib taking this by triangle choke a minute 30 into the second round. But the first round is what is the most exciting because Gaethje got the better of Khabib in a lot of cases, but it's still Khabib impressed me with his ability to stand and throw with Justin Gaethje.
Did you see how hard he made Justin work in that first round?
Well, the pressure was just insane.
I mean, you heard Khabib. I prepare for 100 takedowns. It doesn't matter to me. Like that kind of pressure, like you were saying, it's going to break almost anyone. I don't see how you beat that. I mean, the guy shouldn't be fighting at 155. He looks huge in there, man. I mean, seriously. And it's not even like the huge, like physically, like his stature. It's just like his build, you know, like he just looks so like the perfect size, damn near, you know? Yeah, like he's just a rock solid human being in there at 155. And I just don't see anyone being able to withstand that power and that pressure, and just that technique that he has. I mean, even Daniel Cormier breaking down the technique, you know, talking about how he's really trying to get wrist control when he pins you up against the fence and puts you in the Dagestani handcuffs.
You know, when he was that was,
how are you going to stop it though? He literally tells you how to stop it. No one can stop it still.
Well, that was DC when he was breaking down when his last fight last September when Khabib got that submission over Dustin Poirier. Poirier had no chance against that cage. I mean, but then if we go, the crazy thing about the first round, two of the judges gave it to Justin Gaethje on the 10-9. And I have to say, I don't
think it's as crazy as people have been. I mean, like, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Ariel or someone was crying about it. Dude, that was a really close round, and Justin knocked him with some good shots.
Justin.
I mean, Khabib can take a shot.
Yes, he can. It's that weight. That weight helps with the chin. But no, Justin Gaethje, he was landing some solid, clean shots on
to the back of the ear. I mean, he was landing in some good spots, and I don't think I saw Khabib. I mean, I'd have to watch the fight really closely.
He didn't look rocked.
Yeah, I don't think I saw him rocked at all.
But that's also what happens when you wrestle a bear. But if we go into the second round, I've never seen this before, and I never knew it was possible to take a guy down, get into full mount, and then to transition into a triangle choke from full mount.
You just haven't done enough jiu-jitsu then, bro.
Yeah, you know, I think we could say that. I definitely am not. But that was insane. But also, did you hear the story behind this, Blake, of why he transitioned to the triangle?
Yeah.
At least according to Daniel Cormier, Khabib transitioned from what was going to be an armbar, he transitioned to a triangle in order just to choke out Justin Gaethje and to avoid hurting him in front of his family, because before this fight, Gaethje was saying that he wouldn't tap. Do you believe that?
I mean, we can only take a man at his word, right? I don't think a guy like Khabib really would lie about something like that, but I just think it's just whatever, dude. Like, okay,
hey, it's a
good job.
It's a cool story though. I mean, still
barely. I don't know. You're in a fight, dude. I mean, if I was in a fight, I don't know,
dude. But the thing
that's just me. Though. I'm trying to kill you if I'm in a fight.
Assuming this is true, how remarkable is it to be able to be controlling this guy and to have the time to think to yourself, I don't know if it's remarkable.
It's kind of scary. It's almost psychopath. You know, like, you're a savage for sure.
How are you going to be in the middle of a fight and be able to think to yourself that you don't want to do this submission, you'd rather transition to this submission?
But see, I don't think it was really even a during the fight thought. I think he went into the fight with that game plan. He was like, you know, he's going to try and defend the arm bar, and so I'm going to fake that and transition to the triangle that should be wide open. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, and you see the end of the first round, he did kind of the same setup, really.
Yeah.
And he had him in an arm. Well, he hit him in a bicep.
He's going for the arm bar.
Bicep slicer.
Yeah.
Which is a little different, but I mean, very similar.
Yeah.
So, but I don't totally buy it, but I mean, yes, decently cool story.
The story is, though, he retires after this. And his reason is because he, of course, he wanted to honor his father with this one, and he was saying that he talked with his mom and that he didn't want to fight without his dad. So this is going to be the last one. So that's kind of the biggest reason.
He also wants to spend more time with other huge thing. He said, I only have one parent left now, and I want to spend as much time as I can with her. You know, life is precious, and it's not promised.
Well, damn, dude, his post-fight speech almost had me in tears. It was
pretty powerful. And then the whole you know, the dialogue he had for Justin too, telling him to be, you know, close with his parents as much as he can. I thought that was really cool of him too. I mean, I used to be a big time Khabib kind of, I don't know if I could say hater, but my fair share of crap about him. You can't really, he's kind of like a DC for me, where he just really grew on me. You can't really dislike the guy. I mean, he just does everything the right way. Like I was telling you before we started this, he kind of reminds me of a LeBron, where he doesn't pop for tests. He always says pretty much the right things. He doesn't get too emotional. Takes care of his family first and foremost. Pretty private guy with his personal life. And I mean, really, the only knock you could have on him is missing weight here and there, or pulling out of a fight. So
hey, Dan Paul, this one, he had a broken foot. He was in the hospital a week before this fight, and Khabib's just a scary dude. But to your point, Blake, with that whole LeBron James thing, brings me to my next question of, is Khabib Nurmagomedov the GOAT of the UFC and of MMA, as he's now the number one pound for pound over Jon Jones?
Man, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
I think right now at this moment, if his career is said and done 29-0 on paper, I think that's probably the best record we'll ever see in history. I don't think anyone can get to that number again. I mean, you'd have to be a super specimen. Seriously. I mean, the game has gotten too evolved now. You're going to lose eventually. There's going to be someone out there that's better than you at some aspect of this fight game, and they're going to expose you at some point. I mean, it's no knock on anybody. It's just where this game has gotten. It's not like you can just dominate like you could back in the day.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I think right now, yes, he is, but the only way that I think someone could overtake him, it would be Jon Jones. And the only reason I don't have Jon Jones ahead of him right now is just because of the muddied water, so to say. The failed drug tests, the performance-enhancing drugs, the hit and runs, just all the freaking outside the UFC noise, and even inside, but not competition related, It just kind of sucks, and it puts a little bit of a taint on his image. So the only way I could see it going in his favor and him overtaking Khabib again as the GOAT would be for him to probably he'd have to beat Adesanya if they fought, or he'd have to beat Francis or Stipe. And then I think, yes, then there's no way. I mean, just look at the freaking people that Jones lined up and took out, especially early in his career. My goodness.
Well, like
Murderer's Row.
You mean guys like Vito Belfort, Leo Machida, I mean Rampage Jackson, Shogun Hua, I mean, go all the way back. Let's talk about Ryan
Daniel
Bader.
Cormier twice.
OSP,
Gustafsson twice.
Gustafsson, man. But to me, what kind of sets Khabib apart from Jon Jones is, at least as of now, let's just look at Khabib's last three fights. Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. Conor McGregor, one of the greatest UFC fighters and MMA fighters of all time, former double champ with that one of the greatest strikers of all time. Dustin Poirier, interim champ. Justin Gaethje, interim champ. That 3-fight stretch where he dominated all three of those opponents as well, you might be able to call that one of the greatest 3-fight stretches that we've ever seen in MMA. And if you want to go, and the thing with Khabib is you might question his talent, or at least the talent of his opponents before that most recent run of fighters, but he's dominated every single person he's gone up against. You can't really say that with Jon Jones, because I mean, that first fight with Alexander Gustafsson, a lot of people had that going to Gustafsson. His fight with Thiago Santos, that was a split decision. His fight with Dominic Reyes, a lot of people had that going to Dominic Reyes. There is questions about, did Jon Jones actually win these fights? But on the other hand, with Khabib, there's no doubt that he won those. So that's
any fight he won, he pretty much dominated.
Yeah. So that's there's doubt. When you look at Jon Jones, there's doubt. When you look at Khabib Nurmagomedov, there's no doubt. So that's why, at least as of now, he is your MMA GOAT. The door's definitely open there for him to be dethroned, but as of today, Khabib Nurmagomedov is your GOAT. And I agree with you right there, Blake. Now, the problem is, though, is what the hell do we do with that vacant lightweight title? What fights do we make? Who gets the next shot? A lot of people going on, Conor versus Dustin, even though that fight still isn't official. Do we make that one for the lightweight title? I don't know. What are your thoughts on the mess that we have at hand now?
I like the Poirier versus Conor fight. I think you can keep that one if they both really want to fight each other. I wouldn't mind it being for the vacant lightweight title, just because Conor with a belt is always going to be good for the UFC. And even if Poirier beats him, fantastic.
And
he's a good champ.
Buy rate would. I mean, Conor McGregor's all around the card, but if you put it for the belt, that's money.
And it's crazy. I mean, Poirier, I don't think he gets enough credit. He's improved a crap ton. I mean, from when they first fought, not to mention it was at featherweight.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a little bit different of a fight now. I still think I'd favor Conor, just because I think psychology does play a lot into fights. But I do think it'll be more competitive. It's not going to be, Poirier's going to have a little bit more weight on him, probably be a little more hydrated, obviously, might not go down as fast. I mean, look at those shots he took against, what's his name? Dan Hardy, right? Or not Dan Hardy. What am I talking about?
That was against Hooker. Yeah.
Yes.
Dan Hardy would just criticize the officiating.
Right. He would just yell at Herb Dean. But so yeah, Poirier versus Conor, we can keep. I don't mind that. But the next fight is what's really tough, because you have. So I think we should list them off. We have Justin Gaethje, the ex-interim champ who just lost to Khabib. We have Tony Ferguson, who just lost to Justin in April or something like that, and has been on the shelf. He needs a fight. He wants a fight. And then we have Michael Chandler, the newcomer from Bellator, who's already trying to insert himself into the top 5, as well as Alex, who I think definitely deserves some type of big fight coming up.
Yeah.
The thing is I do believe Tony and Oliveira have already thrown down once. So I think, we could probably pass on that. Gaethje and Tony have obviously already thrown down once. I think we can pass on that. That's why I wouldn't mind maybe either Gaethje sits for the real title, and then obviously Tony versus Chandler. I think that would just be put your money where your mouth is, bro. Are you as good as you say you are? Let's see what it is.
Dude, what's crazy is I really do agree with you on that one.
The only way that I could see it changing, though, is maybe do Justin versus Poirier. Justin versus Dustin again. Run that back for the vacant title. Conor fights the winner, or he fights Tony. I don't know. That's
what I think here.
It's tough though, because Conor will never be co-main.
No, but especially since it's not even official yet, I say we now scrap the Conor versus Poirier rematch. Might get some flack for that, but it's because it leads to greater things. Because instead, we do Justin Gaethje versus Conor McGregor. We go back to original plan of Dustin Poirier against Tony Ferguson. And then just for the hell of it, just for some fun, I'd say I feel bad for leaving Charles Oliveira out of this. But
Chandler, give him Chandler.
No, Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler. I like that one more.
Or Hooker versus Oliveira.
I mean, any three of those fighters between Hooker, Oliveira, and Chandler will love to see.
Give Chandler Kevin Lee or something.
Ooh,
that'd be kind of badass.
Ooh, that would be pretty fun.
Both wrestlers.
Give him Paul Felder.
Both have decent striking. Kevin Lee likes to talk crap.
Would love that Kevin Lee fight right there.
That sounds pretty interesting,
see,
right?
Right now, because we know who the top guys are. We know it's Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor. We know that.
Dude, that would actually, I think I like that a lot. Like Justin versus Conor, Tony versus Dustin.
And winners,
we got Hooker
fight for the
versus Hooker versus Oliveira.
Yeah,
because they'll be the next in line for one of the winners. And then you got Chandler versus Lee. Lee is not a pushover. Lee is going to let you know, like, is this guy UFC level? Okay, cool. He's UFC level. He wins his fight
right there.
Now you can go and fight whoever is next.
Dude, what is this? Sean Shelby, bro. Take your vacation. Dana White. Hit us up, man. We're open. We're open for business, okay? You don't even need to pay me like Sean Shelby does. Just fly me out for a weekend to Fight Island, and we'll call it good, I think.
Yeah, let me put together a card and you don't have to pay me for it. I'll just pick the fights.
Hey,
see what the ratings are like.
Hey,
you just let me know if you want to.
Hey, do that. Just keep on, and then also what you can do to really help is just like, the little tweets they put up during the fights. Just only do that from our Twitter account. I'll get with that. But Blake, great idea right there. Genius minds right here. That's exactly what you do for the vacant lightweight title. Conor McGregor versus Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson, Dustin Poirier. Then you do Kevin Lee against Michael Chandler, and then you do Hooker, Oliveira. That's a pretty clean way that's a pretty good way to clean up the mess. But to kind of wrap things up here, let's move on into our little UFC Vegas 12 preview. Starting off on this one, talking about the last 3 fights on the main card. Maurice Green versus Greg Hardy. Supposedly
the crochet boss.
The crochet boss against the woman beater, Greg Hardy.
Yikes.
This is going to be a tough opponent. I mean, I'm really curious to see how the grappling kind of wrestling for Maurice Green would hopefully, or would seemingly at least kind of cancel out Greg Hardy's standing ability and striking ability. I love this fight from a matchup perspective.
Yeah, Hardy's not going to be able to physically dominate Green, I don't think, because Green's just he's just as much of a physical specimen as Greg Hardy is. He's a huge guy.
Well,
Hardy might be a little more explosive
though, because his eyes look in 2 different directions, way higher field of view. He can see everything. Greg Hardy can't.
Don't be throwing hooks. You got to throw straights. He sees those hooks coming a mile away.
For those who don't know, he has a lazy eye. There we go. That's a joke.
Hey, come on, man. What? Some respect on his name.
Hey, no, I love him, man. I love him. It's a shame when he lost to Olenek, but Olenek is just stupid good when on the ground. But how you see this fight going?
It's a tough one to call. I think Hardy will find a way to finish Green.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hardy is just a little meaner, I feel like, than Green. I think it's going to be a good fight, though.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think there's going to be a finish, but I'm leaning towards Hardy. I don't know why. Even though Green's a little bit bigger, I just think Hardy's a little bit meaner.
See, this might be my heart thinking more than my brain, but I think Maurice Green's going to take this one. I think it's just going to kind of just bottle Greg Hardy up, and he's going to grind out a win on this one, and then just kind of just have that slow, methodical fight that Greg Hardy doesn't have the cardio for, or at least nothing that we've seen. He hasn't been able to prove it up until
Not
this
without
point.
an inhaler.
Right. Oh man, but this co-main, Andre Touchy-Feely against number 15 ranked fighter Bryce Mitchell, and the biggest
Thug Nasty Mitchell.
Thug Nasty, the boy from Arkansas, loves the state. And the best thing about this, Blake, it's not going to be the fight. It's going to be the fact that Bryce Mitchell finally gets his camouflage Reebok shorts.
So now, is he fighting in those shorts?
That's what he's been saying.
Okay.
He's
I
going to
didn't
be
know if
fighting
it was like
in the
just
camo
fighter
shorts.
gear,
No.
or if it was actual that's the shorts that he's wearing during the fight.
And he said that if anyone tries to stop him, he's going to fight them.
Yeah, if anyone didn't see his little 1.5
Hilarious.
minute little imaginatory confrontation / showdown with the UFC security team, it's must see.
Love him.
Dude is just hilarious, and I think he's being dead serious is the thing that makes it the best.
Right.
You're just like, joking. Wow, this guy really would go through great lengths to wear camouflage shorts in the octagon. I respect that. I
respect the hell out of that. And the thing is, though, how's this fight going to end up? Honestly, it's such a toss-up.
Yeah, well, you know what's crazy is Mitchell's actually fought a teammate of Feely's before. He fought Tyler Diamond, who is another Team Alpha Male product. He also fought in the Ultimate Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember which season they were. I want to say it was like 28, something like that. But he had a tough time against Tyler Diamond, and Tyler Diamond's not as big as Feely. He's probably like 5'6", just a really, really high level wrestler though.
Mm-hmm.
I think Feely, he's not going to have a problem against wrestlers. He trains at Team Alpha Male, and we're known for back in the day.
Yeah.
He trains with Uriah. He trains with Vince Murdoch. He trains with all these studs, Cody Garbrandt. He's not going to have a tough time, I think, on the ground. The main thing is, I think Feely, I could see Feely having a dominant performance against Mitchell. Mitchell has to bring something on the feet in order to really challenge Feely.
No twisters for Bryce Mitchell.
If you look at Feely's last fight and the fight before that, really, his last 3 fights against Sadiq, against that random Brazilian guy that he beat the hell out of last July, And then his most recent one against I think it was Jourdain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guy's a stud. He can put anyone's lights out on the feet. So I think the key to this fight is Feely using his range, keeping it standing in bad positions on the ground. If he does get taken down, get right back up. But I could really see Feely piecing Bryce Mitchell up and this being kind of a rough night for Mitchell and Feely taking his number.
That's real bold. I mean, shout out to our Team Alpha Male guys, of course. One of the best of all. A couple of our interviews. Head boxing coach over there, Team Alpha Male, the man, Joey Rodriguez. And also, of course, our interview with the number 7th ranked featherweight in the world, Josh Emmett. Go on,
Get
check
healthy,
that out.
bro.
I can't wait to see him.
Can't wait for it.
I was saying, man.
Dark horse, dude.
I was saying, man. Volkanovski should be.
Yeah, I'm saying he would be a good fight for Volkanovski.
He beat Volkanovski's ass. No bias there. Love you, Josh Emmett. But dude, I'm super.
Well, now we're not going to get an interview with Volkanovski now. Good job.
Well, because we'll get an interview with the new champion, Josh Emmett. A second interview with him. So that's all that matters.
Only a year away or so.
Oh, let's hope so. Man, 2021 is.
Hey, he's hitting pads, so good stuff, Josh. Keep it up.
And he is, talking with Joey Rodriguez, or like what Joey posted on his Instagram story, where he feels like crap after just doing some bag work with Josh Emmett already. So that's, I can't imagine how sore your hands would have to be after holding pads for Josh. That's
guy throws bombs.
And that's,
just ask Burgos,
right? And he does. I mean, he only needs one leg to throw bombs too. Crazy stuff.
Apparently, yeah.
And now, I mean, the whole big deal of this card, though, is going to be the main event between number 10 ranked Uriah Hall against the retiring Anderson Silva, a GOAT to a lot of people. Easily top, I would say, easily top 5, probably top 3 MMA fighter of all time. And to be honest, I'm just hoping that he doesn't get KO'd bad. That's all.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing everyone's hoping for is just a good performance. We don't want to see him go out there and just, get sent to the hospital.
Dude, imagine how perfect would it have been if his retirement fight was with Izzy. That would.
It'd have been okay. I don't know. The competitor in him to go out on, but I don't think it's going to happen against a guy like Hall.
Hall's really good.
Hall's a good. Yeah, he's well rounded, I think, in everywhere, especially standing up. I mean, he's got just as many highlight reel knockouts, I think, as anyone in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, he had a solid performance against Paulo Costa too. So
he did. That was a good fight. Paulo Costa just was a little tougher.
Just a little tougher. But dude, I don't have much to say about this fight. I don't think Anderson Silva takes it.
I think we're all just going to be holding our breath during this one.
This is going to be such a tough fight to watch because...
but he could surprise us, though. Who knows? Hopefully he does. I'm rooting for him to surprise us.
If he does, I'd be super happy with that. But all I can say now is Anderson Silva is one of the most spectacular fighters to watch in history.
He brought a lot of eyes to the sport. I think he was a big part of the development in the UFC. The kind of... Probably like... I want to say I kind of got into it around like the 2008 time period, like 2008 to probably like right around 2000. He had like a 4 to 6 year run where, I mean, there was just no one that could touch him.
Well, the crazy thing, one of the craziest things about him currently is that in part of their pre-fight hype, UFC posted a video on their Twitter account with him doing some training with his son. And it blows my mind that Anderson Silva is 45 years old. He debuted in the UFC at 31.
45?
He debuted in 2008 into the UFC at 31 years old. He's 45 years old.
Damn.
Right?
He debuted at 31 years old.
Yeah. And he kicked ass at 31 years old.
That's wild.
Anderson Silva's just a G. He's just such a... one of my favorite things about him is that if you just saw him on the streets, and especially if you hear him talk, you would not think that he's capable of murdering you in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Ah, man, but that's what we have to say about this. But also between everything we talked about, whether it be your
I had to double check that he was 45, and he is 45.
he's
April 14th,
you
1975.
hey, you can fact check me. It's
Goodness gracious, because I didn't know it off the top of my head. I knew he was in his 40s, but I was like, dang, 45. What the heck?
Imagine seeing a 45-year-old, but
He'd
he's
still beat my ass, tell you that.
that's just the
He'd probably be
legend.
60 years old and still beat my ass.
He'd be dead and he still could beat my ass. Let's be real.
Come on, give yourself some credit, Ross. Come on, bro. Don't be a simp.
Hey,
Don't be an Anderson Silva simp. Come on.
if I'm going to simp for anyone, it's going to be for
The
Anderson
simp-free
Silva.
podcast right here, boys.
That's the rules. No,
Stay strong, boys.
Stay strong, boys. But unless you're on the NJ check, then all day. But that's kind of going to do it
Simp
for
for
us,
Yo
guys.
We'll simp for Yo, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, 100% with that one. But let us know what you guys think, whether it be on our Twitter, whether it be leaving a comment on our website, or best of all, Blake, the best way to let us know about this is, you can leave a comment on your YouTube video of this, or you go to our Apple Podcast page and leave a 5-star review with your thoughts. Is Khabib Nurmagomedov the GOAT? What do we do with that vacant lightweight title? And give me your predictions for UFC Vegas 12. But
Or just reply to his tweets and talk crap, and then I'll reply and talk crap back. So, I mean, there's plenty of ways to get in touch with us.
We really do reply to
I love
everything.
talking crap, so it's great.
I have no life out of this. So like if you reply to us on Twitter, you will get a reply back. Don't you worry. Guaranteed. But ladies and gentlemen, just keep an eye out on the show. Follow the Twitter, follow the Instagram for constant updates, because those interviews are going to be out soon, and you will not want to miss that one. It is set to be an absolute banger of a interview. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, like I mentioned. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, anywhere you find podcasts. We're there. Blake, thank you so much for making another appearance on our UFC Talk episode. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of forced me, but it's whatever.
Well, do your damn job, Blake, okay?
Just kidding, bro. It's fun. It's always fun to talk about this stuff. We enjoy it. Hopefully the people that are listening or watching enjoy it as much as we do.
Hey, I know a lot of guys do, because
it's a great time to be a fan, right?
It's always... Every time, Blake, you gotta end it. It's a great time to be a UFC fan. I know a lot of you guys love this, and I really do appreciate the feedback that you give us. It really means the world to me. But besides that, hope you guys all enjoy UFC Vegas 12. Have a happy Halloween. I know I'm not going to be doing anything besides watching fights.
Fight on Halloween. You can't beat that. Someone's going to get punched in the face on Halloween.
Is it too much to ask for an orange canvas? They did the
That'd
gold at
be pretty
UFC 200. Let's get the
cool.
Hey, Dana White, call me, bro.
The pumpkin, little pumpkin in there.
Or at least the padding on the cage be orange.
Yeah, like some orange. Some orange padding would be pretty cool.
Hey, hit me up. But ladies and gentlemen, enjoy that fight. Have a great weekend, and we will catch you in the next one.